What is up, everybody? It's okay. Okay, so now I'm gonna do another reaction video. So today we're actually not gonna look at videos. We're gonna look at like a Bleacher Report article. Like it says, grading every NBA team's off season so far. Um, Technically the off season already ended, so I don't know why, but like okay. So let's go to the first one. Atlanta Hawks, A minus. If you want my opinion, first of all, they got Bogdanovich, Chris Dunn, Rajon Rondo, Kongwu, and Danilo Gallinari. I actually think this was a successful offseason because Danilo Gallinari is a great player. Bogdanovich is good too. And then Chris Dunn for the help for defense. You know how like Trae Young can't defend well. Well, now they got that. And then Rajon Rondo to make the plays. And then they got their rookie. I think it's pretty good. And they didn't re-sign anybody, but the people who left, they weren't that good, to be honest. So like, I think it was a pretty successful offseason. Now on to Boston. Okay, so let's read what they are saying. So, under no circumstances should the Boston Celtics have met the market rate set by the Charlotte Hornets for Gordon Hayward, who opted out of his 30.2 2020 to 2021 salary to sign a 4-year, $120 million deal with Charlotte. Obviously, I mean, it's an overpay, but then if Gordon Hayward ends up as good as he was before, I mean, it's worth it. Considering that Detroit gave $20 million a year to Jeremy Grant, which probably would come up later. And so, yeah, let's just look at the. So they added Tristan Thompson, as we all know. They added Jeff Teague. They drafted the rookie Aaron Nesmith and Peyton Pritchard. Um, they didn't lose much, and they re-signed Jason Tatum, which obviously is like the biggest goal that offseason. And I guess they have a center improvement now, and they got a backup point guard. Before, I remember it was like Brad Wanamaker, wasn't it? So now they got an upgrade, and yeah, I mean, it's not considering they lost Gordon Hayward. I guess it wasn't really successful, but at the same time, it's not bad. So I'd probably give it like a B minus. But then again, that's just my opinion. Brooklyn, that's C plus. So Joe Harris, he doesn't deserve that much money. Like he just doesn't. Like that's just too much. And like they didn't lose much, like Garrett Temple and Musa, but then at the same time they didn't add much either. So like you could say they're basically just running it back. Charlotte, yeah, Gordon Hayward, as I said, it was an overpay. LaMelo Ball, yeah, he's good, but like I'm not a big fan of LaMelo just because he can't shoot. Like when you're shooting 20 something percent from three, like that's just not okay. And you're a point guard, and usually it's guards that shoot. So like, yeah, mainly they added Gordon Hayward and LaMelo Ball. Like that's just like the main priority. So I'll just talk about that. They didn't lose much. Like they waived Nicholas Batum, and I mean, there's not that much of a point because like you still have to pay his salary. But like I guess you lose a roster spot, so that's good. And Willie Hernan Gomez left. They re-signed Bismack, so oversold the team's quality. I mean, honestly, like there weren't much free agents that they were able to steal. Like there was Fred VanVleet, but then at the same time they just signed Terry Rozier, and they have Devontae Graham who's playing really well. So they don't really need that. And then like Anthony Davis, he was most likely gonna resign, and all the other guys like Jason Tatum and all that, they were gonna resign. And yeah, they could have brought in a center like DeMarcus Cousins or like Christian Wood, but then I guess they didn't. So I mean, I would say I'd give it like a D. Chicago. I'm actually not like a draft guy, so I wouldn't put my opinion on this because like I just don't know if I'm saying it wrong. Correct me, but I won't say it. So they didn't really do much either. They lost Chris Dunn and Shaquille Harrison, and then they didn't add much except for their draft. So, and they re-signed Denzel Valentine. So not much there. Wait, what grade? A C minus? Yeah. I guess it's not good because you could have made moves and you didn't. Cleveland, C. As I said, I'm not a draft guy. They added JaVale McGee to fill the hole for like Tristan Thompson leaving. And that's actually pretty much it. They only lost one player. They brought back Matthew Dellavedova, and then they got their draft pick, and they got Damian Dotson, who's like not that good. Dallas, so the Philly trade with like Seth Curry and all that. So they lost Seth Curry, DeLon Wright, Justin Jackson. They added Josh Richardson, James Johnson. You know the names and you can read it. I mean, it's good because like Josh Richardson is an improvement from Seth Curry. Like we all know that, even though Seth Curry is a better shooter. And DeLon Wright was okay. Justin Jackson, I don't watch a lot of his basketball, so I'm not sure. And yeah, they drafted a lot of people like Tyrell Terry, Tyler Bay, Josh Green, and yeah, they brought Wes Iwundu from the Magic, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And they re-signed like what do you call this sign? For the Nuggets, they re-signed Paul Millsap, yeah, and like honestly, not bringing back Jeremy Grant was right. Like he's good, don't get me wrong. Jeremy Grant is good. I like his game, but like 20 million, I feel like is a lot. Um, They added some players. They didn't add too much. They also lost Mason Plumlee, who I believe also went to Detroit, right? And yeah, again, not that much, but I think B minus. I would give it a B. So yeah, this is here. Obviously, I completely agree. Like, look at the centers and power forwards they added. They added Jeremy Grant. They added Mason Plumlee, who's a center. Jahlil Okafor, who's a center. Okay, so that's already a lot. And these, DeLon Wright, they added as a point guard. Ronnie McGruder, I believe, is a shooting guard. And then Isaiah Stewart. Those I'm not sure. Again, I'm not a draft guy, so like Killian Hayes, I can't say is good or bad. And also for Sadiq Bey. And they honestly lost a lot. Like I feel like they should have re-signed Christian Wood first of all, and then they lost Luke Kennard. Tony Snell was on a bad contract, so I think they did the right choice there. And then Bruce Brown they traded with Brooklyn, I'm pretty sure. So like let's read what they say because like I've been talking a lot. So there's like Charlotte's deal with Hayward is the most damaging long-term agreement signed this offseason, but Detroit's 3-year, $25 million pact with Mason Plumlee might be the most ridiculous. Christian Wood would have only cost another $5 million per season. The mind reels. Yeah, I know, right? Like Mason Plumlee, Christian Wood is way better than Mason Plumlee. It's the truth. And $5 million more. I believe that Christian Wood wanted to come back because he's played well there and they should have re-signed him. So it's a significant overpay, as I said before, especially because Detroit has nowhere near the playmaking Denver did. Yeah, like they got Jamal Murray, they got Jokic, and yeah. Okay, so Golden State B plus. They added Kelly Oubre because like Clay went out with the Achilles. Honestly, I'm not sure. Like, are they gonna play Kelly Oubre Jr. at the shooting guard or Andrew Wiggins. Like, and then they got Brad Wanamaker for backup PG, I believe. James Wiseman, obviously you know. Nico Mannion, a draft, I believe. And Ken Bazemore. They literally lost basically nothing. Like Kai Bowman, again, I'm not trying to disrespect anyone, but he's not that good, so it doesn't matter much. See, so like they had no control over the worst part of their offseason. Klay Thompson's torn Achilles suffered on the eve of the draft, with the gut punch felt around the world. Yeah, I was actually really sad. Like Steph and Klay, I just want to see them play together, especially since like KD left. Like that was best to watch Warriors at the big three, and then they left. I was like, I actually like the Warriors a lot, even though I'm a Raptors fan. Yeah, so like I was pretty sad. Okay, so the Houston Rockets, yeah, I would actually give it a better grade. Like, bringing in DeMarcus Cousins and Christian Wood is a W. Like, even though DeMarcus Cousins suffered that injury, he's still not bad. You know what I mean? And then Christian Wood, yeah, we already talked about him. He's good in the Detroit part, and they got rid of the small ball thing. And I think I would actually give them like an A or A minus. Not gonna lie, they lost Robert Covington, but I think it was for a draft pick with Portland. And then Austin Rivers, they lost Jeff Green. Yeah, that's kind of sad, but like, so I guess we're back in on centers then. Yeah, like that's what I said. The Houston Rockets secured one of the best values in free agency by somehow spending $41 million on a 3-year deal with Christian Wood. Say what you will about his journeyman past and small sample of success, but Wood is a wildly skilled offensive player who will fit perfectly into Houston's starting unit, offering space, fake and goal drives, and plenty of gravity as a rollman. Yeah, I honestly like. I think he fits well too. And Indiana, from this part, you can tell that they didn't do much. So like they brought in Cassius Stanley. They lost TJ Leaf, and then they re-signed Justin Holiday and Jakar Sampson. So literally they didn't do much. And yeah. Because I'm pretty sure he is, Stanley is also a draft pick. So they legit basically only lost TJ Leaf. And then, yeah, this is the sad part. Like, I really like Serge, and just seeing him in the Clippers jersey or imagining that just makes my heart ache. So, Los Angeles. Obviously, they lost Montrez, and then they added Luke Kennard and then Serge Ibaka. They lost Jermichael Green and them, who were like solid backups, and Landry Shamet. And yeah, but like getting Serge and Luke Kennard was a big W. They re-signed Marcus Morris Sr., which I think is good. And like, so like, would you rather have Serge Ibaka or Montrezl Harrell? Honestly, I would say I would want Serge, and not because I'm a Raptors fan, okay? Because Serge can shoot, and he can block, he can go to the rim, like he can do all the things that Montrez can do, apart from maybe layups. Like I'm not sure if Montrez layups a lot. Like I don't watch his game much, but I would rather Serge Ibaka. That's just my opinion. I would give it a B, yeah, because like they did lose like one of the better players in free agency. And then Los Angeles Lakers, A. Yeah, I agree with this. Like they added Montrez, as I said earlier. They added Wesley Matthews, Dennis Schroeder via trade, and Marc Gasol, another pain. They lost Danny Green, Rajon Rondo, JaVale. That's basically half the roster. At least their rotational roster. Because I mean, yeah, they got improvements in all of them. And I think it would be great. But like the problem is, like this is a problem. Team chemistry. Like now you got a bunch of new players. You lost a bunch of like former players that won the championship together. And so I feel like it's just gonna be like Kawhi and PG. Like they're just gonna have to need time to like adjust. Like hopefully they'll be good by the playoffs. But if not, that would be sad. They re-signed KCP and Markeith. It's not that big of a deal. I mean, Caldwell Pope is good. Don't get me wrong. Memphis B. They got Tillman, and then they got Desmond Bain, which I'm pretty sure is a draft pick. They added Mario Hazonia. They lost Josh Jackson. Like, basically, they're running it back again. Basically. Because, like, their main players are, like, Valanciunas, Shaw, Justice Winslow, Dylan Brooks, Jaren Jackson Jr., so, like. And then Miami. They gave Bam the max contract, right? Yep. But I'm pretty sure it doesn't kick in this year. Like, it kicks in, like, next year. So, like, they added Precious Oshua, like, the power forward, Avery Bradley, point guard, and they lost Jay Crowder, which was sad, and they lost the dunk contest champion. But other than that, like, I think it was a pretty normal offseason. I feel like they lost more than they got, but at least they brought back Dragic and then Bama, which is the main purpose. Milwaukee, D+. Like, I honestly don't know why they traded Dante DiVincenzo and them. Like, honestly, they did a sign and trade with Bogdan Bogdanovic, but he didn't even stay there. Like, he just went to, like, Atlanta. So, like, what's the point, right? And they re-signed Pat Connaughton. They brought in Jrue Holiday. I mean, is that a good trade? Yes, they got more D, but then they lost a lot of depth. Like they lost Eric Bledsoe, as I said. George Hill, Wesley Matthews, Lakers, we all know. Robin Lopez went to the Wizards, like, and then Urson left, and then Marvin Williams. Marvin Williams retired, so like there's not much they can do about that. But like some really good, solid rotational players left, which is kind of sad. And then Minnesota. Obviously, Anthony Edwards, and then they got Ricky Rubio. I think the Ricky Rubio deal was pretty great because, like, you know, he's a veteran. He can pass the ball. I'm just not sure if he's gonna play backup or like D'Angelo is gonna move to shooting guard. They re-signed Malik Beasley, and then hold on, what was the deal again? 4 years and $16 million. So like. It's if you average it out, it's $15 million a year. For Malik Beasley, I wouldn't say that's much of an overpay. I mean, you just have to see how he performs. Like, if he skyrockets high and becomes even better, sure, that would be such a steal. But if it's not, then maybe not the greatest. But then again, you can't control these things. James Johnson's big contract, I think that was good, and they brought back Juancho Hernangomez. Good. And then New Orleans, so they got Eric Bledsoe, Steven Adams, Willie Hernangomez, Kyra Lewis from the draft. They re-signed Brandon Ingram. We all know that, like, he's the big name. And yeah, like we're just talking about the Bucks, how Jrue Holiday. They lost their favors. And then Jahlil Okafor, remember, went to Detroit. And Frank Jackson. We were talking about Justin Jackson. And so, like, the other two. Yeah, they left too. Well, I would grade this. Yeah, I would agree with him. A B is good. Because, like, yeah, they made some trades. I feel like they got more solid. Like, I would say they improved their center. And one thing I'm confused. Is Eric Bledsoe going to play shooting guard? Or is Lonzo going to go to the bench? Because, like, honestly, I feel like they improved a lot. They got more solid. So, yeah. I agree. New York. Obi Toppin. Like, again, I'm not a draft guy. They got Alec Burks, Austin Rivers, Nerlens Noel, which I think are solid players. I think they're good. They didn't lose much. Like, Yeah, they lost a lot of their rotational pieces, but like none of them were that good. That good. Like Bobby Portis was good. That's kind of sad. But other than that, it's okay. Alfred Payton, yeah, he's pretty good. He's okay. Thunder, you gotta give it to Sam Presti. 19 draft picks, if I'm correct. 19, like how? And that's only first round picks. It's not second round picks. So yeah, obviously you can see they made a lot of trades and they didn't bring back people in free agency. Um, so they got Al Horford, George Hill, Ty. Oh yeah, so this is where George Hill went. They got Ty Jerome, Trevor Ariza, Kendrick Williams, Frank Jackson, a bunch of names. Like yeah, these all came from New Orleans. Yeah, so like I think if they want to tank it this year, it wouldn't be a bad idea. But like the problem is like Shea might not be happy with it. But other than that, it's okay. Chris Paul, Danilo Gallinari, Steven Adams, Dennis Schroeder. No, these are all like very like people who get a lot of minutes. Nerlens Noel is a backup center. Three of them, the first three are starters, and Dennis Schroeder is like one of the best scorers on the team. But then again, even though they lost a lot, you still have to think about the picks. So I give it an A plus, 100%. Orlando T. I honestly like Cole Anthony. I think he's a good scorer. They didn't lose much. They lost DJ Augustine, but then again, they got Cole Anthony, the point guard. I would give it maybe like a B minus because like they didn't do much again. So like you can't give it a good grade, but then you can't give it a bad grade either because they're just sustaining themselves. Sustaining themselves may not be the greatest idea since they're the 8th seed and the 7th seed last year, but like at least you're not regressing, right? Philadelphia. Danny Green, Seth Curry, Terrence Ferguson, Dwight Howard, and Tyrese Maxey. Like, yeah, I like Seth Curry a lot, okay? Danny Green, like, as I said, I was a Raptors fan, but Danny Green, honestly, he isn't that good. At the Raptors, he was good. But then he just started choking in the playoffs last year and this year. And Dwight Howard, yeah, he's good. They need a backup center. They lost Al Horford, Josh Richardson, who are both starters, and then they got lost Raul Nato, Alec Burks, who are all like rotational pieces. I think Zara Smith was in the G League. Not sure. So they gave it a B plus. I mean, I give it a B because like it's not that much of an upgrade. In fact, I think it's a downgrade. But then again, I feel like these players will fit better. You know what I mean? Phoenix, yeah, this was like the biggest hype I had in free agency was D Book and CP. That would just be such a fun team to watch. And then with DeAndre Ayton, you can throw lobs from Chris Paul. They also had Jay Crowder. They drafted Jalen Smith. The rest I'm just gonna skip it because this video is getting really long. They lost Ricky Rubio, Kelly Oubre, and Ty Jerome, and then I believe in the OKC trade with CP. Aaron Baines went to Toronto, which is coming up really soon. They re-signed Dario Saric and Javon Carter. Taking out the Chris Paul thing, I would say it's a B. But with Chris Paul, now they can actually get into the playoffs and maybe like even like take a 1 seed to like maybe like 6 games. Like you never know. Or they can be just completely above my expectations. Because you know how we all said that OKC was going to completely suck and then Chris Paul led his team. Portland. They got Robert Covington. They got Enes Kanter, who went back. And then they got Derrick Jones Jr. and Harry Giles. All good rotational pieces. Robert Covington's a great defender. compared to what they lost, I would say it's a W. Like they lost Hassan Whiteside, which is kind of big, but other than that, not much. They re-signed Carmelo, great, and they re-signed Ronnie, great. Like they're both shooters. So let's actually read what they're saying. The Los Angeles Lakers are the best team in the West, but it wouldn't be a surprise to see this revamped version of the Portland Trailblazers finish second in the conference. Honestly, this past season, Portland actually was really upsetting because with basically the same roster, they played it up to the 3 seed last year, and now they're the 8 seed and lost in 5. So I love Dayton. Like, I just do. So I'm happy for them to be great again. Sacramento, they re-signed De'Aaron Fox to a max extension. They got Hassan Whiteside and they drafted Tyrese Halliburton. Um, I would say that they lost more depth again, but then they got better players in my opinion. So yeah, I kind of agree with this one. Maybe I might have given it a B, but like B minus is all right. I agree with it. San Antonio. So they re-signed Jakob Pertl and they re-signed Drew Eubanks. Sorry, I can't pronounce. They lost Marco Bellinelli and Bryn Forrest, but then they got the 2 drafts. They got Devin Vassell and Trey Jones. I like both of those players. And yeah, those are some players that I actually know in the draft. And yeah, I would say that maybe it's not the best idea because like now they're losing like experience, but at the same time, Devin Vassell I think would be good. So if you're thinking long term, it would be a great idea. If you're thinking like short term, then it would be all right. But then again, they're probably going to start rebuilding. Like the Spurs ain't going nowhere. Toronto Raptors B. I kind of I would agree with this. Um, it says notable additions. Where is Jalen Harris? Unless I'm not up to date with things and he got waived or traded, he should be on here. Aaron Baines, Alex Len. So they lost Serge Ibaka and Marcus Gasol. As I said again, I'm really sad. But then again, they quickly filled the hole with Aaron Baines. Like everyone's tweeting and like writing articles that Aaron Baines fits really well. Alex Len as a backup center, and then they added DeAndre Bembry. And Malachi Flynn, I can think is really good because he led San Diego State to a 30-2 record. If I got my information correct. So I'm actually pretty hyped. I'm pretty excited to see what he can do. Maybe he's like those guys that people should have drafted early. Fred VanVleet is a big thing. They re-signed him. Like everyone was saying, like he's going to Detroit, he's going to New York, and he ended up re-signing, and not even for that much money. Like for Fred VanVleet, if you're averaging it out, it's like 21.25 million, which isn't bad for Fred VanVleet. And I think he has a lot of room for improvement. I think he's going to continue growing and he's going to continue to get better, especially since Lowry getting older. Let's see what he has to say. Now on to Utah. They signed Donovan Mitchell, which has to be number one priority. You can't afford to lose him. They lost Tony Bradley, which was a solid guy, and Ed Davis. Ed Davis was making $5 million without playing that much, so I'm not sure about that. They added Derek Favors, though, who went back to Utah, if I'm not mistaken, and then they drafted him. Don't even ask me to say the name, I'm bad with it. And they re-signed Jordan Clarkson. So they say the Utah Jazz kept the band together by extending Donovan Mitchell at the max, no problem there, and re-signing Jordan Clarkson for $52 million over 4 years. I mean, for like I'm pretty sure he was playing backup back then with Mike Conley and Donovan Mitchell at the guard. So I mean, I guess it's a little bit much, but then again, Jordan Clarkson is a real solid player, so I understand what they were doing. Then they brought back an older member of the outfit, handing the full MLE over 3 years to Derek Favors. Yeah, so I was right. Washington, last team, C plus. I saw people saying that like no, he's not. Davis Bertans isn't gonna resign, but he ended up doing it. Denny Avdija, I think it's a draft pick. As I said, Robin Lopez signed with them. Raul Nato signed with them. Anthony Gill, who I don't know. They didn't lose anybody, and they resigned. Not that big of changes, but I think C plus. I agree. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. Hope you liked the video. If you think I said something wrong or you have different opinions, just comment down below. I love reading comments. And yeah, so it's been okay, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.